Andy is a young high school student. He lives with his single mother who works 3 jobs just to support her family. Her new boyfriend has been physically and mentally abusing him for the past 6 months. She has no idea.
Because of this abuse, he falls into a deep state of depression. And he can't talk to his mom about it because she's busy with all of these different things. But who else can he talk to? What does he have to do?
What can he do?
The problem is that Andy isn't the only one. Across Canada, every 1 in 5 teens is currently suffering with mental health issues. And the problem is mainly that teens with these mental health issues are not seeking the help they so desperately require. And in fact, out of these teens who are seeking these opportunities to meet with publicly funded therapists, the wait list is 2.5 years long. And for these teens, that could mean the difference between the further complications arising, such as them self-harming and even committing suicide. And in fact, annually, 294 Canadian children commit suicide due to mental health-related complications. And if you don't trust those statistics, then we've also done a lot of first-hand research ourselves. We interviewed 104 secondary school students across the GTA and found that 92% of them had faced mental health issues in some point in their life, and 53% of them, which is more than half of them, didn't feel fully comfortable talking to simply their parents or their peers about it. Now, out of all those students, 84% of them wish that they could have had an app that could connect them with free certified therapists, which is exactly what UConnect aims to do. So, UConnect. We're simply an app that provides teenagers with the opportunity to connect with a certified mental health professional and a therapist, and anonymously. And it would also be free so that they could talk to these therapists without actually having to pay to solve the rising problem of mental health. So now about how it works. So simply, we would have a registration page in the beginning. We would simply welcome them, and there would be 2 pages. One for users and the other for therapists. So for the users themselves, as you can see, it would simply be an account creation page asking for simple information such as their name, their email, and a password to set up their account. Next, they would be paired with an AI chatbot that would ask them simple questions related to what kinds of mental health issues they've been facing recently, and then would connect them to the appropriate therapist that will be able to help them with those issues. So in this case, you can see that the person was dealing with anxiety and stress, and they've been paired with a therapist who specializes in those mental health issues.
So the registration page for therapists is actually quite simple. They sign off, they put in their information for the years of education and the qualifications. Next, they'll be on a page where essentially it matches them up with users that need help. Depending on the severity, the rates will change. Essentially, you guys can look over there. And we'd like to introduce you guys to Dr. Stacy Newman. So over the week, we had the opportunity to interview a certified psychologist with over 25 years of experience in the industry. Some of our findings were that she would also be interested in our app and partnering with us, given the right financials and having the right pay, and that she also found that students have this issue where they're unable to unable to find therapy due to problems at home. So, therapists, why would they want to work with us? First of all, we provide a strong pricing model. We did market research and we analyzed, we talked to Dr. Stacy Newman about pricing, which we'll mention later. Second of all, we provide them with an easy entry towards the market. So currently, university students after graduating, it's hard for them to find jobs. By having our app, we essentially provide them with work experience and allow them to develop their portfolios in their future career. Finally, they can work from home. This is part-time, they couldn't make it full-time. It's easily accessible, it's on an app, and then all they have to do is log in and they're set up. So, for our cost structure, essentially each year it'll be $125 for us to operate on the App Store and the Google Play Store, and our cost will only be to pay off our therapists. So depending on the analysis that our bot determines, it'll be $40 an hour for low risk and $100 an hour for high risk. Now, these were determined from our interview with Dr. Stacy Newman. So, how do we fund this? We decided to go nonprofit. This means that most of our funding will be from partnerships with the government, school boards, and other institutions that are trying to help students solve the issue of mental health. What happens is that our cost of these will be subsidized by the government of Ontario. So, to go into more specific details, recently this week, the government of Ontario announced plans of putting in $20 million for funding for students, and this will probably be able to partner with the government as well. Also, another form of revenue is donations, and we'll be able to sell data that is anonymous to research institutions to further develop the mental health industry. So, some of our competitors, why would you choose UConnect over others? So we know that this kid's helpful, but we found that their therapy might not be the highest quality. We don't know who is actually a therapist, we don't know if they're volunteered or if they're paid. Now, other platforms are like Hazu, and BetterHelp. The problem is that those are very expensive. We are trying to provide affordable access to therapy for students who might not be able to pay for it. Each of these two apps charge $30 a week, and we just think that that's unreasonable. So, why us?
So, to sum it all up, UConnect is essentially just a free online mental health therapy app that would connect students with certified therapists that could help solve their issues of mental health. And as I stated previously, 25,000 Ontario youth are on a wait list for public mental health services that are over 2.5 years long, and so many complications could arise by then due to them not solving their problems fast, which is what UConnect aims to do. It's instantaneous. You can log onto your phone, see which therapists are available, and instantly connect with them and find a solution.
So, the future is limitless. For now, we want to start off small, test the waters, and see what happens. In the future, we want to expand with larger networks, such as working with the government of Canada, or perhaps even going into other countries and then releasing this app worldwide for people to use. So, thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, let us know. And we'd like you guys to either go on that link or scan our barcode to see our prototype for the app. And
that was very good. I love the idea, I love the concept, and I am actually curious. Obviously, mental health is a big problem, but I'd like to know how you landed on this specific idea. And then I have a follow-up question.
So, first we thought that it was really hard for some students to access mental health because, as we mentioned before, some people might not have the financial resources for a lot of mental health apps, and also some people might not be comfortable with talking to parents and getting them to a therapist. And then we saw Uber's model where they were able to match drivers with people that need to be driven. So we thought we could match therapists with students that needed help.
Great. And I actually really like that you kind of went the not-for-profit model. Just sort of thinking about that, have you, and I noticed you do have some cost structure. I may have missed a bit, but help me understand sort of, if you need to run this for a year, how much money do you think you need to raise at least to kind of jumpstart? And obviously you're going to want to get good quality therapists on board. So you're going to, have you thought through sort of budgeting for that a little bit?
So to test the waters, I think we obviously need like a few thousand in our first month. But we thought that all of our costs, since we are a nonprofit, we'd like to get it subsidized. So instead of providing a cost, we thought that as long as there was demand for therapists and that happened, all of the money would hopefully be subsidized by the government, just like how they're currently doing it with their new program.
Also, we would be partnering up with some clinics. It would benefit us because we could use their therapists, and also they would benefit because they get kind of we could be kind of their commercial, and people that use our app can see which clinics they come from to seek extra help if they need more help.
and just stop.
Exactly, that's the best part is like also the referrals that we're gonna do. So all these partnerships that we're doing with different corporations such as Let's Talk, the Canadian Mental Health Associations, as well as many crisis lifelines that these people might be calling. So let's talk about that first. So all those crisis hotlines for people who are extremely at high risk and they call into that line, those people at those lines can refer those customers to us for long-term therapy because those calls are essentially to avert the crisis from occurring, but they still need that long-term remediation and therapy to recover, right? So our marketing would essentially be through all of our partnerships. We would be getting these customers referred to us from these places that would essentially be our marketing and lead us to gain more customers from all these sources.
Great.
Thanks, guys. I really like what you did with Stacy. I think it was very important to get someone in the industry to partner. That's very important because they'll give you insight. It's basically free insight to get things that she knows that you guys might not know. So that was a really good move on that side. I like the anonymous. I mean, growing up, I've lost 3 friends. Through mental health. It's very painful, and it's a great cause, a great solution to help kids not lose their lives, right? So I really like that. And so I guess the other thing was also the how to incentivize more therapists. Is there a way to say, okay, if you do 10 hours of free work, you get on top of our kind of a system that helps them get kind of more to get more experts. There are certain areas, right? Is there some kind of incentive that you guys talked about or thought about to help them to get thousands of therapists on your platform?
The main thing was essentially, if I go back to that slide, with therapists, we do provide very strong pricing models. So if we go to our prototype here, you can see that if there are very severe cases where a strong therapist was provided, such as the user on the bottom with severe identity disorder, we provide them with very high rates, so $30 for every 15 minutes of counseling. And I think that is sufficient to supply the therapist. And if that's not the case, we also provide some brand new therapists ease of access into the market and provide them with work experience.